Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of But It's Free for Everyone, the show where you can check out some of the best free games that are available around the internet. Today we're looking at Trove. I know some of you probably think I'd forgotten at this point, but I've finally gotten my Dracolyte up to a level where I can play through the Dragonfire Peaks, this lava-filled landscape that you can see around me. My name's Chris Kenner and today I'll be your host as we run through some of the dungeons in the Dragonfire Peaks. I love this place because it has some of the best and biggest castles. So we're going to get started on this one. I'm pretty sure the boss is going to be right up there. So let's go in the bottom where there is actually not a door there, apparently. Great start. Where's the entrance? Oh, there's a stair. I didn't wonder how you got up here. So let's just burst right in and start laying waste to stuff. Now the Dracolyte is a sort of area of effect thing, like everything that's in front of me is getting hit constantly. You might be able to see I have that sort of purple streamer effect. And you'll notice that on sort of my little right shoulder I've got that little butterfly dragon thing. Everything that's on this Dracolyte looks a little bit butterfly themed because of a costume I'm wearing. I'll demonstrate what the difference is in a bit after I've shown you its abilities. But that little dragon thing, if I right click, will spit a little fireball. The area's getting filled with loot. But the little fireball does extra damage and it is charged by you hitting enemies. So if I can I shoot this guy? Yes, I think you could just see the explosion there. And it's just a little bit of extra damage that you can actually launch from a long way away because the fire that I get is actually pretty short range. But you can see it hits quite quickly, so it's quite balanced. I like the way it works because with my little cat following me around, I get healed for every hit that I make, and I heal at a ridiculous rate at the moment. Let's just get rid of these as we work our way up through. This castle looks a lot smaller on the inside. I don't know if it's just like me and that it looked nicer from the outside, or if it's actually the design. Because it was round, wasn't it? So like these square walls are hiding something. Let's just zoom up to the next boss. What's the next boss? It should be an Ember Drake, apparently, according to the information in the top right. There, that looks like an Ember Drake. You get lots of dragon and lava-themed things. You get these sort of weird lava golems. Some scarabs, because there's scarabs in almost every biome. I think this is one of the few biomes that doesn't have some sort of mushroom people. Ooh, we've got a magic staff that was a shadow item. That's nice. Let's get rid of this guy the rest of the way. So, let me just see if I can shoot off a fireball that you can see. There, you can sort of see it there. But in addition, I have this ability where I can launch this little sort of capsule. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see. You can see it looks like a dragon holding an egg, but I can shoot it and it will explode in a large area, and it can just add a bit more to my damage while I'm attacking. But this is the big boss of the area, and I will show you my special ability where I turn into a massive dragon. Look at me, look how cool I am. This increases my resistance to damage quite significantly, and I attack quite a bit faster. So it really does sort of spike my damage quite drastically, and I can still use all my other abilities while like that. But it only lasts for a short period. And I look at that sort of butterfly dragon again because I've got the cool outfit, which I won from running through the Shadow Tower. You can get some items which you can eventually exchange for costumes and all sorts of cool stuff. It's sort of like a status thing to say, look at me, I've beaten the Shadow Tower this much. Although honestly, like some of the teams that you can run through with, you can just sort of tag along because some people run through it and are extremely powerful. But let's finish the last of these off. This is the thing about summoning enemies, that summon ranged attackers, that you just end up leaving them because you need to be focusing on the boss, otherwise you're just going to summon more. But yeah, I was right, I'm right at the top of this castle now. Where shall we head? Let's head in this direction. Right, let's try for a smaller castle this time. This one's just got a little hammer on the front. Although weirdly, you get inside and it's completely hollow. So like all of the actual dungeon here is underground. You'll notice I might be struggling a bit more with the enemies here. This is partly because this is a higher level place, and also because at higher levels things tend to have more health and you do less damage but you do more damage. And it's a weird sort of scaling where you can do the same stuff but it just takes longer, which isn't so effective on something like the Dracolyte, but on something like the Pirate Captain, where your damage scales stupidly because of all the little attachments and accoutrements he gets. it can actually make it more satisfying to play. I've enjoyed playing that class more as I've leveled up, because I can actually use his abilities. When I first started, a lot of those cannons would never see any use because everything would be dead before I even got a chance. Let's flame some of these. This is the bit where it summons some ranged enemies as well, so I've got to try and position myself to be able to take those out, and of course they're not willing to just stand in the way and get obliterated. It's not so much of a problem, but it just makes the fight take a little bit longer and add some variety, and they usually have more damage but less health. There we go. So let's hop through here, and I believe that there was another dungeon. Yep, just up there, which if I can get to the right angle, I can show you is like a dragon head that's breathing fire down below. And I'm just going to quickly switch my costume while I'm getting attacked, so that you can see how the Dracolyte behaves in his normal colour. So you can see I'm actually shooting fire now, and I have an actual dragon on my shoulder. And the dragon actually gets quite fat when he's ready with a fireball. So you can see he's a bit skinny at the moment. But I'm going to avoid fighting that thing there, because it's just going to take a long time. It's not going to get me a lot of experience. These platforms are difficult because I'm trying to fly up there. That's where I want to go. So I'm in the dragon's head now. You get lots of these sort of orange decorations. Let's take this out. Don't want it shooting me later. Climb up a bit more. You can see there's some jump pads here, so I'm clearly supposed to jump up. Oh, onto the top. I thought I was going to go up into the ceiling. Let's summon this out, and I'm going to switch into my dragon form. And you can see I'm a different dragon now. And this is interesting because it can actually be altered by the skin that you choose, which you can alter at any time, so you can try any variety of dragons. But whatever skin you choose as your sort of like skin for your head on your Dracolyte will affect what that dragon looks like. It's really cool. And I haven't experimented with all of them, but you're welcome to set up your own account. You can play as the Dracolyte from the get-go. And I've got more loot. But I'm going to switch back to my cool costume, because I worked long and hard to get that. Not like that hard, but, you know, hard enough. And I believe there's another dungeon just over here. And this one I'm just going to fly straight in the top of. Just because once you're up high, you can really just sort of skip out a lot of the dungeon, just get to the meaty bits. And if you are doing a challenge where you've got to sort of complete more dungeons in a particular biome or with a particular class, this sort of skill can be invaluable because it can allow you to really get between them quickly. And I'll cover the challenges in my sort of all about Trove episode, and you can see more about that in that episode. Let's get rid of these fire. What they're actually called? It doesn't say. See, if they're an actual boss, they get names. I think they're called magma golems. So what's this over here? This looks like just some sort of dome. Let's use bomb and get down inside. More bombs? Huh. I don't think that was actually... Oh, there's the dragon. Yeah, I'm in the right place. Let's go full dragon form. Take him out. It's worth noting that the lava here does actually hurt enemies. You may have seen in my Shadow Tower video that lots of enemies would then walk through the lava in a particular arena. And it's the same in this. Like, all the lava around here does hurt all the enemies, despite most of them being dragons. They're not fireproof. These aren't your how to train your dragons. These are the very vulnerable dragons. Anyway, let's find another dungeon. Here's quite a cool dungeon with this sort of transparent fire egg that you can see up there. I can just see the entrance is mostly obscured down here, but you can get in from any side. And there's this sort of, like, a lot of glass in here. But everything's these sort of oranges and browns and sort of very nice colours. You can see how glass affects the world as well. Like, you can't see glass behind other glass, which is why this looks so odd. Let's hop through this portal. Where are we? I'm underground now. Let's take these out. But yeah, it's some of these may look quite samey, but the way the worlds are laid out, if you're actually just running from dungeon to dungeon, you'll actually be switching biomes quite quickly. So if you're bored of a place, you can just go to another different place. And some of the enemies are similar, But it's great fun if you're running through with friends, and you don't spend like hours and hours and hours on this. You spend sort of significant chunks of time doing the actual Shadow Tower. But this is just good casual fun, and it's all for free. I've never spent a penny on playing this game. I probably should have done and could have done, because I mean I've gotten a lot of play out of it. But you don't have to, and it's strange playing these games because it now seems strange to me to invest money in playing games in a lot of cases. Let's go to that castle and see what... it looks like this sort of red lump. Weird. Is it buried? Where is this supposed to be? Oh, here's a way in. Oh, goodness. I'm in some sort of like Khazad-dûm-esque dungeon. I wonder if there's a Balrog. That's actually a kind of shame. I think they probably missed out on a creature idea there, that they haven't got like a Balrog. I don't know what the rights are to the Lord of the Rings characters. Obviously the actual named characters are very heavily owned, but I'm not certain about the bestiary. I mean, the Balrog is something that you'll see as, I think, something called a Baelor in Dungeons and Dragons. And it's the exact same thing. It's a really, really hardcore demon with a flaming sword and a whip. And it's got the wings, got the horns, got the smoky forms, got everything. So I don't know which one was inspired by the other, or whether they came up with the idea separately. I would suggest that the Dungeons and Dragons one was inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien's Balrog. Oh, that was the last boss. Okay. Oh, well, I must have missed some places. Oh, well, let's move on to the next place. Ah, I was hoping we'd find this one. I love this dungeon particularly. It's very open plan. Like, this is all just out in the air. Ooh. This one spawns a lot of little minions. But you've got just sort of the one boss outside, and then I think there's two inside one of the larger crystals down the other end. It just takes so long to go down. I'd definitely like to specialise to have more damage on this class. Let's see, is that the other boss over there? It's like the Ember Drake. That looks like an Ember Drake to me. I struggle to remember all the names of things. But it's been so long since I've last played this on camera that they've actually added a new biome which is themed after all sorts of like Tibetan monk kind of stuff. So you've got those round gold coins with the hole in the middle, a little square hole. They remind me of something from Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's a very cool biome, but it doesn't have like an associated class as all the other biomes do. I'm sure I could pick a class and run through it, and I will at some point. But it's not got like one that, like, yes, this is definitely the Tibetan monk place class thing that matches this place. Like the Dracolyte is definitely like a dragon that's in the Dragonfire Peaks, and the Dragonfire Peaks are its home and its place. Let's get this guy. Is that the Elder Flame Drake? Goodness, he's tiny. I don't know what I'm used to. It might be that I'm used to going through the Shadow Tower now, and these bosses seem puny by comparison. Probably doesn't also help that I can turn into a giant dragon. Let's try and get rid of this guy. Oh, die! But this is a game of variety. I can change class at any moment and do something different and play differently. I can go and do something else. There's challenges. There's building to do, there's other dungeons to do, there's other biomes to explore, there's other goals to reach for. So you're never limited to just the one thing. I've been showing you this bit by bit, aspect by aspect, but eventually it all adds up into one big game. And you can see the sort of diversity on the map, and this area is predominantly Dragonfire Peaks, but I could go anywhere. I could go to the ice place and be like, haha, you're all going to melt. But I think I'm going to cut that off there. So thank you guys for watching. If you'd like, please do check out my other videos. We've got some Dungeon Master's Tales of games in D&D, which are just brilliant fun, and tales of how that game goes very right and very wrong. We look at lots of other free games, especially on things like Newgrounds, like much smaller scale things if you don't want to invest into downloading and installing all of Trove. but I do thoroughly encourage you to give the game a try. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.